community. It's Brian from Brian's Vinyl Records, and it is Monday, which means it's time for another episode of Vinyl Editions. That is right. I'm back on Monday finally. It's been kind of weird with everything. Obviously, can't go digging in record stores and all that stuff. So really, I've been planning these episodes around when I actually had new stuff to show. So I've got some stuff to show. I'm very excited about this. I've been, as you know, supporting a bunch of different local shops around the country, trying to help them out, especially my local one here, but also one down in Georgia. And I just recently purchased some stuff from a place in Red Wing, Minnesota, which is South Minnesota, towards the Iowa border, kind of Iowa-Illinois area. But that's kind of cool. So let me show you what I have here. Also, we'll start with a shop in North Carolina, a gentleman that I have bought from in the past through some online auctions and things like that, has a store in North Carolina, and happy to help him out. He posted some stuff for sale, and I saw a couple things I wanted, reached out to him, and he got them for me and shipped them off real quick. So we'll start here. This is Cheap Trick's Dream Police. Now, I have never in my life owned a single Cheap Trick album. Not a vinyl, not a CD, not a cassette, nothing. They're a band I knew, but never really bought anything from. So with MIA Final Low being such a massive fan of this band, I knew I needed to start somewhere. And I saw this on his post about records for sale and decided that now was the time to give this a shot. So I picked this up from him. This is a pretty cool. I really enjoyed it, actually. I do have a funny story, though. We were listening to this while working on our puzzle that we've been doing, and my wife said, they seem to repeat the same lines over and over again in their songs. And I said, interesting comment. So I thought that was kind of cool. But good stuff. Really enjoyed it. Definitely will be digging more into them as we go. The other thing I saw on there is something that I wanted for a while now, and just haven't seen it in the wild, and I found it one time at a 99-cent bin. It looked immaculate, everything was good, and then I looked at the record. Side 1 looked just spotless. Side 2, I saw a gap about this big in the record, and it was just deep, and that's why it was 99 cents. And I was really bummed I couldn't pick it up then, but found it here. This is Rush Power Windows. So happy to add this to my collection. I have not spun this one yet, but looking forward to listening to Rush's Power Windows. So excited about that. All right, let's go to Savannah, Georgia. Graveface Records and Curiosities down in Savannah, Georgia. I've been watching their online auctions. They do them on, I believe it's every Saturday afternoon around 11 o'clock Central Time. So if you're interested in picking up some cool records from a really good group down in Georgia, check them out on Facebook, Graveface Records and Curiosities. Like I said, they do a live feed every Saturday. I think it's 11 o'clock Central Time. And they just go through a couple bins of records, tell you the price, and you can claim them by calling dibs on them right away, and you get what you get. So let's start there. This is the first one I picked up, Star Trek Original Motion Picture Soundtrack. Now, I'm not a big Star Trek guy, never really watched the movies, never really watched the TV show, never followed any of the offshoots of them either, but I know I enjoy good score music, and these guys have good score music. So I decided to give this a shot. This, I think, cost me like $3, so it was dirt cheap. And so here we go, Star Trek, the Original Motion Picture Soundtrack. All right, the next two I got for them are replacement items. So the first one is this one here. This is Eric Clapton's 461 Ocean Boulevard. This is my current copy. Looks great. Everything looks pretty much the same. Nothing to tell you any otherwise. And if we pop out the album, looks really good. Not too bad. Here's the problem with this one. That label got just destroyed when it was put on this record. And the sad part is this part right down here actually leaks into the grooves. So that song that is interrupting is I Shot the Sheriff, which is one of Clapton's covers and a pretty well-known song for him and obviously for Bob Marley. But it would just ruin the song. And obviously you don't want your needle to touch that. So I picked this up for 99 cents and thought, well, I'll just skip I Shot the Sheriff and listen to the rest of the record and that'll be fine. But one day I'll pick up a new copy. Well, that one day finally came, and I did get a new copy from Greyface. So I thank you, Greyface, for that. This one is beautiful. It looks just sharp, and the cover and jacket are in great shape. So super pumped about that. The next one, Bon Jovi, New Jersey. Love this album. This is a classic. This got me into Bon Jovi, this album right here. And I had this copy originally. I got this really cheap because obviously we have some sticker damage here, and just everything is just terrible on this. I mean, it's frayed. It's just beat to crap. The album itself is in pretty good shape, but I knew that I was going to need to get a replacement for it at some point. So that finally came as well from the fine folks at Greyface Records. This thing is beautiful. It is crisp. There's no real damage other than a little bit of a corner bend down here, but otherwise this thing is almost immaculate. The record is in great shape as well. Super pumped to throw this on and give it a listen later. All right, so that's our trip to Georgia. Now let's go to my friends at Down in the Valley here in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. They have online shows. They vary, mostly on Fridays. It's a Friday virtual happy hour. This last week they had Dave Pierner of Soul Asylum on, and Ryan, also the guitar player from Soul Asylum, on, and they were just absolute blast. They were on just talking about their new record that just came out, a double LP, so I think it's called Hurry Up and Wait, so check that out. And then Dave was also plugging his new book that just came out as well. But anyway, here are some of the items that I won from them, not this past week, but the week before, that came in last week. This is Bob Dylan's first album, Bob Dylan. Mostly, I think, cover songs that he did, folk style. Really cool record. Happy to add this to my collection. So this is one I picked up from them. And the other two are new releases that came out. Check this out. This is Sponge, Rotting Pinata. Fantastic album from the 90s. It's got the song Molly on there, and it's got the song Plowed, which was probably their biggest hit. But just absolutely fantastic record. This sounds so good. It was put out by a label called War God, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the same label that put out the Seven Mary 3 album from Record Store Day. I think that's the same label. I'd have to check though, but absolutely sounds great. They have two variants that came out. The first one is a clear vinyl, and the second one is a white splatter vinyl, which is what I went with. I decided to go with the white. I think that looks really cool. So just fantastic. Super pumped about that. And then the second album I picked up from Down the Valley, new album, is the new one from Kelsea Ballerini. Really enjoy Kelsea Ballerini. I think she's good. She's a pop country artist and writes all of her own tracks. Love it. And this is great. So I picked this up. This is cool. It comes on they call it an iridescent pink vinyl. So it's kind of clear, but it has a pink hue to it. But just a really good album. So they had bought this specifically. They brought it in specifically because I had asked them about it, and so I was really pumped to get this in my hands as well. So thank you to Down in the Valley. Again, check out their Facebook page, downthevalley.com. Every Friday, usually around 5 o'clock Central Time, they do a virtual happy hour and they sell some records. Really cool guys, fun, laid back, and they're struggling like everyone else. So anything we can do to help them is great, and I vouch for them 100%. Lastly, I got the final album I was looking for in my Britney Spears collection. This is Urban Outfitters' release of Britney Jean. This is the second to last album she put out, and the last album I needed to complete my Britney Spears collection. Really pumped about it. Haven't given a listen to it. In fact, it just showed up at the door no more than a few minutes ago. It's really cool. It comes on this really neat pink vinyl. So really pumped to have this. Like I said, this is the only one that I had left in my collection, and it was the one I wanted the most out of all the Britney Spears albums that I picked up, because it has some really good songs on here. The song Perfume is one of my favorites on this album, and so really excited to get this. I'm looking forward so much to spinning this one and just giving it a listen again. So Britney Jean is Urban Outfitters exclusive, still available. If you want to pick it up, head over to urbanoutfitters.com and give it an order. Not too bad. I think it's $25, so not a bad price. There you have it. That's everything that I picked up this week. A lot compared to recent weeks. Really excited. I also want to give a shout out to Ultimate Collectibles in Hopkins, Minnesota. They are also doing some online auctions right now. So I believe if you go to Ultimate Collectibles in Hopkins on their Facebook page, there's a group that they have for live auctions, and you can go and check them out too. They're doing, I think, 7 o'clock Central Time on Saturdays. They're doing some online auctions there, and they go until people are done looking at, or they run out of records from what they've pulled. So last episode went till I think 11 o'clock at night, so it can last a long time, but help supporting these local business. I'm really enjoying it. If you know of other ones who are doing these live online sales or auctions, let me know. Like I said, I bought from a place in Red Wing, Minnesota. They were using their website. It's called Vintage Vinyl, and it's spelled VYNTAGE Vinyl, so Vintage Vinyl. They are out of Red Wing, and he's posting albums for sale, new albums for sale on his Facebook feed. So if you're interested in that, please check them out. They have pretty good pricing, a lot of stuff for 25% off as well. So check that out, and it's free shipping if you buy 2 or more albums from them. So there's an incentive right there as well. So thank you all for watching. I hope that you're staying safe. I hope that you're not getting too bored in this quarantine, stay-at-home state that we're in right now. And hopefully we're on the back end of this, and we'll come out of this real soon and get back to our normal lives where we can go digging for records. And I'm really hoping that Record Store Day doesn't get pushed back any more than what it is now. I think we'll be okay. We'll see. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Comment below. Love to interact with everybody here. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Also, don't be afraid to check out my Instagram and Facebook. Every time I post every day what I'm playing throughout the day. So if you're interested in seeing what I'm spinning, sometimes I spin some of these records that come in before I show them here on the videos. Check out Brian's Vinyl Records on Instagram or Facebook. And check out my podcast, Brian's Vinyl Records, available on all podcast apps. Just search for Brian's Vinyl Records and you'll check that out. The latest episode we did was on Counting Crows recovering the satellites. So check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep spinning vinyl, friends.